In certain situations, yes, I will drop down to a 7-foot rod, and that's gonna be wherever I'm in really, really tight quarters. So one time I was fishing a TBF tournament at Santee Cooper. I was at Santee Cooper, and I was fishing up, it's called the swamp. The area is called the swamp. There's lots of cypress trees, and I was having to get really, really tight into the cover, and I was using a soft plastic. I was using a smaller weight and a smaller soft plastic. And in order for me to be able to control that bait, I used a 7-foot rod. I did go up to a heavy action on that 7-foot rod, but essentially everything else was the same. The reel was the same. I was still flipping 20-pound line. I just changed the length of that rod so that I could be more accurate with that smaller bait. And that's all personal opinion, personal preference. That's what I do. Find what works for you. So that's the setup 90% of the time for me, with a soft plastic, 7'3", medium heavy. The reel is this is actually Abu Garcia. This is not an expensive reel. I have fished my way to where I am. I have paid for everything that I do. I can't afford a $500 reel. This reel right here has worked for me day in and day out. This actual rod, the rod that I'm holding in my hand, the reel that I've got in my hand, is the exact same reel that I won Grand Lake on, flipping a jig. This is the exact same rod that I won Cumberland on. Same reel, same rod, same size line. At Cumberland, I was throwing a spinnerbait, a big 3/4 ounce spinnerbait. This is a very versatile rod. So what I'm getting at is this rod's won me $100,000 in the past 5 months. I paid $120, $150 for this reel. I paid about $150 for this rod. It's all about applying the things that you learned here at Bass University and going out there and figuring out the fish. You don't have to have $500 rods. You don't have to have $500 reels. Find something that works for you and go out there and figure out the fish. These companies make great products. Now, are they gonna last for 10 or 15, 20 years? Maybe not, but at this price point, you know, you're better off to get started with something like this. This is a big shocker. Rod setup, the exact same. Reel setup, the exact same. 7:1 gear ratio, Abu Garcia, SX. This is actually an older one, an older SX. I've had this reel for 4 or 5 years. It still works great. I keep it clean. I spray it down wherever wherever it gets grimy. But if you take care of this stuff, it'll last you a long time. This particular jig, this is a jig that I was flipping at Cumberland. This jig is set up for wintertime, dirty water. I like the black and blue, the purple. I put a sapphire blue chunk on it. And we'll get into all that here in just a minute.